So I thought they should trade for
Mm.
Stephanie Dawson. The Aces said no. We're going to trade a first-round pick in 2027 for NaLyssa Smith. Now, I love NaLyssa Smith. I think that this will work out. First-round pick is a bit much, especially if Aaliyah Edwards is on the board, which makes me wonder.
I mean, the thing is, though, she was a number 2 overall pick. I think that's what people tend to forget. Like, I know we look at where you are today in terms of production and what you're doing as a player now, but I feel like where you were drafted matters. And it was just a few years ago. Like, she was a number 2 overall pick. So I get the hesitation, especially who that first round pick could turn into in that draft in a couple years. I mean, I get that, but I feel like where you were drafted as a player still matters.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I will say, like, the Aces, regardless of how bad I don't want to say bad, but we haven't been great this season. I mean, we're bad for like Aces standards, but given how we've played this season, even like how we're going to play next season, like that first round pick in 2027 would be right around where we normally pick in the bottom 5. So like there were a lot of people who were like, we just gave the Wings Juju or
right.
Like realistically, the Aces, if the Aces were actually going to have a shot to pick Juju, do believe that pick would not have been in there, right? That's the equivalent of just trading an upper second, especially too, you're talking about more teams going to be picking in 2027. There's going to be 2 more teams picking in 2027. So that pick would be even lower, like the equivalent of what a second round pick is now. So that does play a part in it as well. For me, as are a lot of other Aces fans on Twitter, it makes you wonder with the news about Aaliyah Edwards being shopped, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It makes me wonder if the Aces called for Aaliyah Edwards and the Mystics said no, and that's why they traded that first round pick to NaLyssa Smith. That's like what my running thought is right now. I don't imagine if they had a chance to get Aaliyah Edwards for the same value that they would have said no to that and yes to NaLyssa Smith. But I could be wrong there. Obviously, we don't have a GM. So like there's no one to ask these questions to. Right. But I mean, we also bullied the team out of not having a GM. We caused these issues ourselves. But on the NaLyssa Smith point, from a basketball standpoint, I mean, you've talked a lot about Asia needing more help in the post. And in that same conversation, but before we had that conversation last week, you talked about exactly what you mean by getting A'ja Wilson a bit more help.
She does need more help in the front court. It's not Liz Kitley, as I keep telling you. She had Candace Parker. She needs another dual forward or hybrid post next to her. It's not Liz Kitley. And it's not it's not nothing against her or Liz Kitley. What they need is other players to start being great. It's so much about A'ja, and that's great, and we love it. I'm a fan. She's great. She's been the best. Great. But that wears on you. We love to brag about she's the best defender. She blocks shots. She does. Do you know how tiring that is, Marcus?
So I still haven't figured that out quite yet, it seems. So we'll talk. I don't like how hard you are on Liz Kitley these days. But what does NaLyssa Smith bring to Vegas in your estimation? Do you like the move of trading for NaLyssa Smith?
Remind me what else was involved in the trade besides the pick? What else did Vegas send? What was it just the first round pick?
It was just the pick for NaLyssa Smith, and then we cut Liz Kitley.
Right.
Yeah. And Tiffany Mitchell.
That's right. Yeah. And like I said, nothing against Liz Kitley or Kia Stokes. I think I still hold a little resentment towards Liz Kitley for winning ACC Player of the Year over Hannah Hidalgo. When she shouldn't have.
You know what? I forgot about that.
Yeah. I had to do some soul searching and be honest. I think I still hold on to that a little bit.
I keep forgetting the basketball interconnectivity that is Martin Torres. You know what? That makes perfect sense.
I shouldn't be holding on to that, but I feel like
we ride. We here at Protect Our Queens. We ride for hours. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Because I think Liz Kitley can be good. I think she has value for her size and what I think she can play. But I mean, she had been injured too. I was never fully sold completely on who she was, and that ACC Player of the Year thing just left a bad taste in my mouth. But when it comes to NaLyssa Smith, I think this isn't exactly what I would look for what I was talking about in terms of because I think because when you proposed Steph Dolson, I liked that because big body, stretch big, and she's a great passer, playmaker. That's what I felt like was really the ideal front court help for Asia. Someone else who can be a playmaker. Steph Dolson can stretch big. Steph Dolson, the center, big body, and she can play make. NaLyssa Smith is a little different. Now she can be the dual forward hybrid post type player that I said Asia could really use next to her, or just use as like Vegas could use as an additional like front court player. So I think NaLyssa Smith can help them. I think I'm wondering. I think this is a great opportunity for NaLyssa Smith. I think she can do things in the front court as far as she can space the floor. She can knock down shots. She is a face-up player. She can go off the dribble. She is that dual forward hybrid post type player that can add in the front court what Vegas hasn't had outside of Asia Wilson thus far. But I do think it's going to be interesting to see how she embraces this opportunity. Obviously, she reacted to the trade and said she was like gut wrenched or whatever word she used. I'm paraphrasing, but she said that it was, because of how she found out, it was clearly like something that was kind of sprung on her type of thing. She's not playing with her girlfriend anymore. People are upset about that. I understand. But it's a tremendous opportunity. And so I wonder so I'm just thinking if this is going to be more pressure on NaLyssa, because not that she has to be their savior, but this was a move that they made thinking that she can come and help them address one of their biggest flaws right now. So she has some responsibility to come in and really be aggressive. Like, they need her scoring. They need her to play some of her best basketball if she's going to contribute to Vegas getting back to where they want to be in terms of their standard. So I wonder how she embraces that kind of pressure, but I'm also wondering, is it going to be pressure, or is it going to be a situation where she can come in and really not have pressure? And I mean, she's playing next to an MVP, the best player in the world. She's playing in a system, in a culture that's championship ready, other really good players on the team. So it's not like she has to do so much. So I'm wondering if, less of a responsibility playing in a championship culture will help her to kind of just fill her spots, do what she can when she can, because she's a highly capable offensive player and defensive. I think we've seen her make some strides. She plays when she's really dialed in, she plays really rangy and with effort, and she's very versatile. Yep. So I look forward to seeing how she can embrace this opportunity, because I think with her skill set, she surely can help them with what she needs. But it's on her to kind of like play her best basketball right now, because Vegas really needs her to do that if this is going to be worth it.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, from a from a excuse me, from a fit standpoint, I like the fit. I don't like the fit as much as I would have liked a Steph Dolson fit, just because I think, like, to your last point about the pressure, Steph Dolson won a championship with Chicago a couple years ago. She's been in the league for what we're talking about 12, 13 years. Like, she knows what it takes to win a championship. She knows, like, so yeah. Stephanie Dolson we don't have those questions if they trade for Steph Dolson in that regard. I think thinking about it, though, comparing NaLyssa Smith to Steph Dolson, thinking about where Steph is right now and moving to Vegas, there are some similarities in the way that the Vegas offense is run and the way that Washington's offense is run, that the more I thought about it, the more I thought that maybe trading for Steph Dolson actually would do more good for Asia Wilson specifically than it would for the team as a whole, or even for Steph Dolson, because the Aces do like to get out and run, right? They do like to score quick. Like, that's not the only difference between Steph Dolson doing it in Vegas and Steph Dolson doing it in Washington is she gets a little bit better opportunity to win another championship, right? NaLyssa Smith fits more in that. Like, she's younger, she's quicker, she's strong in transition. To your point, she's more, she can be more impactful offensively than just shooting threes, right? She's strong off the dribble. She can drive to the bucket. She's good off in the paint. She's good in the mid range. Like, she can do those things. The other thing too, and I don't know, I didn't check. I don't know how often NaLyssa has been put in these situations, whether it's in Indiana. I don't think it ever happened in Dallas through the little bit that she was there, but she could also be a small ball five for them if Asia Wilson needed to sit, whether because she just for minutes or just because she might get in foul trouble, which is rare, but it happens, right? Like there's an added level of versatility to the way that the lineups can function and flow with NaLyssa Smith being there. Where I look at the NaLyssa Smith trade and I don't hate it. I just want to see it before I say that I think that now I don't think NaLyssa Smith is the difference between the Aces, making it out of the first round and winning a championship.
Agreed.
Right? You
Agreed.
still have
I'm not
to
sure
look
it
at,
moves the needle that much.
right? Because the ceiling of the Aces as far as winning a championship, even though getting Asia Wilson post help was needed, in my opinion, the ceiling for whether or not the Aces can win a championship was not dependent upon post help. It's dependent upon Jewel Lloyd finding her rhythm and staying there.
Yeah.
Jackie Young playing better consistently and figuring out what Chelsea Gray's role actually is at this stage in her career as the point guard. And what I mean by that is we know that she is the point guard and we know that she can take games over when she needs to, but like there needs to be, to me, it seems like there needs to be a little bit more definition to what that looks like. Like, is she just coming out here to just be pass first all the time and then flip that switch if needed? Are we actually looking for Chelsea Gray to score in certain moments? Like, what I feel like that's also a piece of this puzzle that hasn't actually been talked about or touched on much because of the other glaring issues of the roster. NaLyssa Smith helps with the post depth and the post support for Asia Wilson. So I think now the attention shifts to Jewel Lloyd, Jackie Young. You guys have to be the all-star, all-league caliber guards that we know that you can be so that we can really get a full understanding of just how far this Aces team can go. Because no matter how well NaLyssa Smith plays in Vegas, if Jewel Lloyd is still out here shooting concert dates, and if Jackie Young still isn't being the prolific offensive player that we know that she can be off the ball or on it, the Aces can still get bounced out of the first round by the Mercury or the Lynx or whoever, no matter how well NaLyssa Smith fits alongside Asia Wilson. So it's I don't want to say NaLyssa Smith is like a Band-Aid over a bullet hole, but it feels like at least right now that potentially this could just be a Band-Aid over a bullet hole.
Yeah, I think it was worth it to get a player, a front court player, another forward who can do things offensively like NaLyssa can that they just didn't have. Yes, 3 days ago. They didn't have that kind of extra component in the front court. And we talked about the pick in 2027. I think that I wouldn't call it like desperate or a shot in the dark or, like to your point, a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. I don't think it's like, I don't think it comes off as desperate. I think it comes off as a solid move to pick up a player who can contribute right now, not withstanding what you think could be a solid player you might get in 2 years in the 2027 draft. Yeah. As you mentioned before, it's not even realistic to assume that's going to be a Juju or one of these top level players coming out of college. So I think it was worth it. It's something that we are going to have to see. Again, it's so much on NaLyssa. I want to see what she can do to show that she can be a difference maker. Because that's not just skill set, that's also like effort. And I think there have been times when people have kind of questioned NaLyssa Smith from an effort standpoint and just like her overall activity, how engaged she is in the game. And so I look forward to seeing her temperament and her energy and how she embraces the opportunity, because from a skill set standpoint, she can help Vegas look a little different. She does offer them something that they didn't have before outside of Asia.
For sure. If you're just joining us, we are talking about NaLyssa Smith being traded to the Las Vegas Aces, and we'll get to see them. We'll get to see NaLyssa Smith, I would assume, in action in some capacity tomorrow. The Aces do have a game tomorrow, as is like the entire league, except for the Fever and the Lynx, I think. So she'll make her season debut tomorrow, I would assume, and we'll get a better idea of what that looks like.